What do you think? That's an outside market. Yeah. Little helper. All right. John Deere ct332. This is a massive machine. I've been looking online because I've had some problems with fuel delivery, and honestly, I thought maybe I'm getting water in my fuel because this is a beast. Listen, this is nearly 12,000 pound machine. 11,800 pounds. I've got a bucket, grapple bucket on the front. It's pretty heavy. I don't know what it weighs. I won't even guess. It doesn't matter. But look at this piece of machinery. I love it. It's stout. It'll do everything you want it to. Lift master. Yeah. All right, so it's been running like crap. It would die on me while I was operating. I got into a burn pile and it died on me. I thought the machine was going to burn up. A few minutes later, I got it started again. Wasn't that big a deal. So, obviously, or to me, it was obvious that I was losing fuel. It wasn't feeding for some reason. Every time I would loosen the gas cap, I would get a hell of a sucking noise. Like, so I knew I wasn't getting a vent. This is a non-vented cap. There's a vent right here. Right here. And you can see I put some new hose on it. That's your tank vent. There's a vent here that just links it from one side to the other because this is all fuel tank. This is all fuel tank. And then all the way down, that's all fuel tank. So it wasn't venting. I pulled that out and spent over an hour cleaning it with starter fluid and a wire brush and ultra thin screwdriver. Finally got it where it would breathe and operate. I took it back out thinking, hey, I got the problem fixed. But no, I ran it for 10 minutes and then it acted like it was running out of fuel again. It started stalling out and it would die, and then it didn't want to start back up, and I pulled the fuel cap off again, but this time there's no pressure. So I thought, hey, maybe because I've been drawing a suction on this tank for so long, maybe I weakened the pump. So I called down to John Deere and talked to one of the mechanics down there, and he told me something I already knew. And it's probably something you guys already know. If you've owned a tractor or a skid steer, at some point they get junk in the tank. There is there's a filter in the bottom of the tank that collects trash before it ever gets to your other filter or before it gets to your oil separator. So he said to me, blow into the tank. And I already knew that. And I thought to myself, why haven't I already done that? But I did that. And then I took it out today and I ran it for 3 hours, and it pushed harder than it has since the day I bought it. It is a super strong machine. I'm very happy that I've got it. One of the best pieces of equipment I've ever had. People ask about track machine versus wheel. Well, listen, I've owned wheeled machines. This is my first track machine. I'm super impressed. I'm super impressed with it. Not just because of how big it is, but I can run through the same spot over and over and over and not tear up the ground. I don't make ruts. It packs it down and it leaves it smooth, smoother than it would if I've been running a wheel machine. All right, so I was going to blow some air through here. Let me get back to the point here. I'm off. I know I'm off point. Sorry, it'll be worth it. All right, so this here is where you bleed air out. That wasn't the problem. You can prime it right here. This line here is the end line from the side of the engine. So I took that off. And I didn't have my air compressor here. One of the guys that works for me took the air compressor today. He's putting in subfloors. But what I did have is a scuba tank. So this thing's only got about 1,000 pounds in it, 1,000 psi, which, you know, if I'm using an air compressor, it's 150. So this is 1,000, nearly 10 times as much. It's going to be about 7.5 if you do the math. But I took that pressure, blew it through here. I took off the fuel cap. You got to remember to do that before you pressurize this thing with 1,000, 1,500 pounds. Took off the fuel cap, set it to the side, blew air through this line, and I could hear it bubbling in the bottom of the tank, which was awesome. But this one here is more important. So this is the first line that comes out of the tank, and on the other end of this, in there, is where the inline filter is down inside the tank. So right where it comes into the filter and then right back to the tank, pull that and then blow air through there. Now listen, this is why we make labels for people. If you don't know what 1,000 or 1,500 pounds, you don't have a scuba tank, you probably don't understand anyway, you can use the pressure from an air compressor. It's going to work just fine. This will blow out the screen from the other direction. Like I say, make sure your cap is off. Blow air back through it. It's going to take the sediment out of your filter. I took it out today, ran it for 3 hours, was totally impressed with it. I didn't have to replace any parts, didn't cost anything. There's just junk in the tank. So I say to you, if you're having problems with your diesel, your piece of equipment, before you go buying parts for it, just make sure that that's not the problem. Blow some air through your lines, and I hope this helps you. You guys have a good one.